This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, students. So we are starting with our third session. Before we start with the embryology models, general embryology models, we'll have a small remaining your queries about the plane skygram.
Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Okay, so what you were asking is about this cervical spines, no? So I just show you it in the digital X-ray, that is well seen. Now here there is a AP view and lateral view here. So what you can see is the cervical spines. You can just start counting from the first one here. This is the posterior arch of the atlas that can be seen. This is second vertebra, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. We all know that the spine of the seventh is most prominent. Okay, so this is the seventh frontal spine. Okay, and this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So this is what we can well see in the lateral view. Okay, so this is what you had asked, I suppose. And you asked about the calcaire femoris. So it was not available when you asked, and there was no time. So see in this radiogram, can you see this bright white shadow on the medial aspect of the neck of the femur and upper part of the shaft in this part? Can you see this white shadow? This compact bone in this part. This is the calcaire femur. Is it clear? We can see the difference. It is comparatively translucent and adjacent to that part. The radio opaque shadow that can be seen here on the medialmost aspect. This is the calcaire femur. Okay, and lateral to that is the cancellum, the cavity of. Okay, this is the calcaire femur. Is it okay? Thank you all. We'll begin with the next session. Thank you everyone.
Good afternoon all. The next session is on the general embryology models. So we'll be starting with the model. So each embryology model in the practical exam, the table will be constituting of 10 marks. So this all embryology models, including the general and systemic, will be of 10 marks in your final MUHS practical exam. Okay. So we are just covering today the general embryology models, but all of the models, including general and systemic, will fetch you 10 marks if you answer it properly. Okay. So let us start with the first model on the general embryology. It is showing the 3 models. Okay. So we'll start with the first model. So in any model, you are supposed to first say the name of the model, and then you are supposed to start describing the model related, the process in the model related. Okay. So the name of the model in this is what is the name of this model? Please write in the chat box. Am I audible? What is the name of this model? Am I audible? Okay. The name of the model is development of ovarian follicles, or you can say it is the name of the model is it is showing the process of oogenesis and also the ovarian cycle. Okay. So the model is showing the process of oogenesis and the ovarian cycle. Then you are supposed to describe each part of it. Okay, starting with the first one. So in this is the purple color structure is what? What is that? Please answer in the chat box. What is this purple color structure in this model, first model? No, it is the developing primary oocyte or the developing oocyte. Okay, you cannot say it as nucleus only. And this whole is a follicle. So this is a follicle and this is the oocyte, developing oocyte. So it is this is the primordial follicle because the cells are lined by flat cells. The lining cells are the flat in shape. So this is a primordial follicle and having which type of oocyte? Primary or secondary? Primary. Okay. So process of oogenesis starts at which age of the fetus or which age of the female? When does the process of oogenesis start? Why it is in primary oocyte stage? Correct. In utero itself, the process of oogenesis will start, and the primary oocyte will be arrested in the diplotin stage of prophase 1 of meiosis 1. Okay. So this is the arrest stage, and it is surrounded by a single layer of follicular cell. So this hole is the primary oocyte, this hole, and it is surrounded by a single layer of flattened follicular cell, and this is the primordial follicle. Okay, the whole together is primordial follicle. Which is this follicle? Which is this follicle? It is primary follicle because it is surrounded, primary oocyte is surrounded by single layer of cuboidal cells. Okay, so the flattened cells are becoming cuboidal and this is primary follicle. Which is this follicle? Correct. This also is primary. It is surrounded by multiple layer of follicular cell and the oocyte is primary oocyte. Okay, and this is the nucleus of the oocyte. Which is this follicle? Correct. This is also primary. So this is primordial. This all are primary follicle, and this is the secondary follicle where the antrum or the cavity is going to develop. Okay. So this is the secondary follicle. This is the cavity, and which oocyte is this? Primary. This is again primary oocyte. So this is again a secondary follicle with cavity inside it. Which is this follicle? So you are supposed to explain in this way. You have to start with this and then in this way, okay? And these are the remaining two. So which is this follicle? Graafian follicle. Okay. So this is Graafian follicle, and the oocyte is actually not seen in this because the cut end is not passing through the oocyte. But if you want to say, you can say oocyte may be placed in the eccentric position. And what is this? What is this structure shown in the model? This is the oocyte after ovulation. Okay. So what are these cells known as surrounding the oocyte? And which type of oocyte is this? No. After ovulation, these cells are known as corona radiata. So the cells are known as corona radiata, and this oocyte is secondary oocyte. How will you confirm that meiosis 1 is completed? Because you can also see one purple color structure here, that is the first polar body, which is present in the perivitelline space. Okay. So this is the secondary oocyte after ovulation. Okay. And what is this structure surrounding the oocyte known as? Correct, zona pellucida. This structure is zona pellucida. The oocyte completes its first meiotic division just before ovulation, and after ovulation, it starts the second meiotic division, which gets arrested in the metaphase. Okay, and this second meiotic division will complete only if the fertilization occurs. If it doesn't occur, then it will not be happening. Okay, so this is the model for the first part of the model. Now coming to the second part of the model, this is showing. This is having two parts. This part is showing parts of the sperm, okay, mature sperm, and this is showing stages of the fertilization. So this is stages of fertilization, and this is the parts of the mature sperm. So in this, you have to first again begin with the identification. So this is the head of the sperm. This between the head and the middle piece, there will be neck of the sperm. This is the middle piece of the sperm, and this is the tail piece. Okay. In the head, there will be acrosomal cap and the nucleus. So the process of spermatogenesis will start at what age in the male? Correct. It will start only after puberty. Process of spermatogenesis. And what is the difference between spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis? What is spermatogenesis and what is spermiogenesis? Spermatogenesis is conversion of spermatogonia into mature sperm, and spermiogenesis or spermateliosis is conversion of spermatid into mature sperm. Okay, so that's the difference. Then they can also ask about the process of spermiogenesis. How does it occur, and what all things occur in the spermiogenesis? So the nucleus of the sperm is formed by which organelle of the cell, or the which organelle of the spermatid in the mature sperm? The nucleus of the mature sperm is formed from which organelle of the spermatid? Or the head of the sperm, mature sperm is, yeah, the head of the mature sperm is formed from the nucleus of the spermatid. The acrosomal cap of the sperm is formed from which organelle of the spermatid? Golgi apparatus, correct. So acrosomal cap is formed from the Golgi apparatus. Nucleus head is formed from the nucleus of the spermatid. Then in the middle piece, there are one centriole is present, proximal centriole is present in the neck, and the distal centriole forms the annulus, which will be present towards the lower end of the middle piece. Okay. In between this, there will be axial filament, which will be surrounded by mitochondria. Okay. So all this will be forming in the middle piece, and then there is a tail piece. Then they can ask also about the maturation of sperm. Okay, in this model, they can also ask about difference between difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. They can also ask about difference between sperm and the ovum. What are the major cross differences? If time permits, all these questions will deal with in the end. Okay, right now I'm just skipping that part, and we are going to the next model. The next model is showing the stages of fertilization. Okay. So here also you have to start from above and then you have to go below. So what are the in this they can start with asking the definition of fertilization, and then they can ask for stages of fertilization. So what are the stages of fertilization? There are many stages of fertilization. Okay, starting with the penetration of sperm into the corona radiata. Okay, then into the zona pellucida. Okay, then there will be fusion of plasma membrane of sperm and the oocyte. Then the entry of sperm into the oocyte. Then there will be completion of the second meiotic division in the oocyte, and then there will be, this is the second polar body. So second meiotic division is completed. Then there will be formation of male and female pronuclei. So these are male and female pronuclei. These are the two polar bodies, and the zona pellucida is still present. Okay, this is a sperm in the first one. Sorry. So can you differentiate between male and female pronucleus here? Can you differentiate between male and female pronucleus in this? No, correct. You cannot differentiate between the male and female pronucleus. So the next stage of this fertilization is fusion of male and female pronucleus and initiation of the mitotic cleavage. Okay, so this is that. This is showing mitotic spindle, two polar bodies, zona pellucida. Okay, so here already zygote first mitotic division has started. Okay, so in this they can also ask for results of fertilization. So what all are the results of fertilization? So what all are the results of fertilization? Anyone? Correct. Restoration of diploid number of chromosomes, completion of second meiotic division in the oocyte, correct. Then initiation of cleavage, correct. Anything else? Determining the gender of the embryo. Okay, correct. Gender is determined. Anything else? Okay, so there is also the intermingling of male and female chromosomes. So there will be differentiation of the species which will be occurring as a result of fertilization. Okay, yes, evolution, correct. So these are all the effects of fertilization. Now we are moving to the next model, that is the third model. In this, which is this model about correct. This model is showing process of cleavage. Very correct. This is a model showing process of cleavage. So in this, they can ask for, let's first identify the thing and we can simultaneously go for the questions also. So in this, they can ask for definition of the cleavage itself and how this cleavage differs from the normal mitotic division. So anyone can answer how the division in the cleavage differs from the normal mitotic division. Acha, so in normal mitotic division, cell sizes, there is answer given is cell size increase doesn't increase between two divisions in cleavage. So does cell size increase in normal cell division? So the main difference is there is decrease in the cell size in the cleavage. The ovum is the largest cell in the body, okay, and it is having lot of cytoplasm. So here the nuclear to cytoplasmic ratio is also distort than the normal. So two things are different than the normal cell division. First, the cell size is increasing in cell size is decreasing in the cleavage in successive division of the cleavage, and there is restoration of the nuclear cytoplasmic ratio. Okay. So this is a two-cell stage of the cleavage, and each cell is known as blastomere. Okay, so this is a two-cell stage. This is eight-cell stage. This is 16-cell stage, which is also known as morula. Okay, at this 8-cell stage, there is a process known as compaction, which starts occurring. What is compaction? That can also be asked. Anyone has any idea? So in the compaction, the cell adjacent cells will be lining near to each other, and the outer cell will be forming the tight junction, and the inner cell will be forming the gap junction in between them. Okay, and basically they will finally get differentiated into the inner cell mass and the outer cell mass. Okay, so this is a 16-cell stage, also known as the morula. After this stage, there will be fluid will be passing in between the cells of this morula, so that there is a cavity which is formed in this later on. So this is known as the blastocele, and the cavity is known as blastocyst. The cavity is known as blastocyst, and the whole of the thing is known as blastocele. Okay. Here, this is the outer cells are known as the trophoblastic cells, and the inner one are known as the embryoblast or the inner cell mass. Okay, embryoblast or inner embryo proper also they can be told as. Okay, so the trophoblast is going to form the different membranes later on in the human being, and the inner cell mass or embryo proper will be forming the all the structures. Paras is asking to repeat something. What exactly you want me to repeat? Please mention that. So I'll repeat in the next after this. Okay, so this is here again this is a trophoblast, this is the inner cell mass. Now in the inner cell mass you can see one yellow layer which is shown in this model. This is the formation of the first germ layer, which is also known as the hypoblast. This is actually yellow in color, but it is looking different in within the camera. I don't know why. It is exactly yellow color in the model, and it is the first germ layer that is formed, which is known as the hypoblast. Okay, you want me to repeat the compaction? So compaction is the alignment of cells near to each other, but and there is a formation of junctions in between the cells. So the between the outer cells there is formation of the tight junction, and between the inner cells there is formation of the gap junction. Okay, and this compaction process of compaction ultimately results into the division of inner cell mass and outer cell mass. Is it clear, Paras? Okay, fine. So any query in this first three models till now? Here they can also ask for what is residual body. So residual body is nothing but the extra cytoplasm which is excluded out from the developing spermatozoid is known as the residual body. Okay, the sperm is usually having majoritarily nucleus and the structure. Cytoplasm is very less in sperm, and cytoplasm is much more in the ovum. Okay. Any major query in identification? As theory, any examiner can go at any level of questions. So all questions are difficult to cover in this session, but at least your naming, identification of the model and the identification of each of the structure should be very clear. So if you have any doubt in identifying any of the name or the structure, then you can ask for. Otherwise, we'll go to the next model. So as we had seen in the last model, there was formation of the blastocyst, right? So after the blastocyst formation, there should be actually the blastocyst has to pass through the uterine cavity, and there needs to be the implantation of that blastocyst, right? So at what day the blastocyst will be implanted in the female? So what is, in short, what is the day of implantation? Day 7. Okay. Till that, before day 7, 6 or 7, what was the thing which was preventing it from getting implanted? Correct, zona pellucida. So there are many functions of zona pellucida. One of it is the prevention of ectopic pregnancy, because it prevents the blastocyst to. Okay, video and audio are not in sync. Okay, right now so I'm not showing anything. Okay, but I'll take care of it. I'll have to go a little slow, I think. Okay. So the blastocyst is prevented from implantation because of the presence of zona pellucida. What are the other functions of zona pellucida? Preventing polyspermy, correct. Other function of zona pellucida. What are other functions other than this two? It also has a function of protection, nutrition. Correct. Someone has written, Paras has written zona reaction. So what exactly is zona reaction? So all these questions can be asked. What is zona reaction? What is acrosomal reaction? Okay. All those questions can be asked. We can cover it at the end if we have time. So we are starting with the next model. That is the model showing, this is the dorsal view of the embryo showing the formation of 3 germ layers. And this is approximately around day 16. Okay. This model, age of this model is around day 16. This one. Okay, so this model is the dorsal view of the embryo. What I mean by dorsal view of the embryo is, this is the amniotic cavity. Here there will be amniotic cavity. Okay, and below this is the yolk sac. Okay, so we have cut the amniotic cavity from above. So that's why this is the dorsal view and this is the ventral view of the embryo. And this is the connecting stalk of the embryo. Okay. So in this model, this is the cut edge of the amnion. This is the yolk sac, and this is the allantois, which is the nothing but the part of the yolk sac going into the connecting stalk. Okay. Now this model actually is showing the development of 3 germ layers, which is known as the gastrulation. So this model is actually showing the process of gastrulation. What is this structure in this model? This structure, correct. This is the primitive node, correct. Okay. So here there is a formation of primitive node. So what first happens is around day 15, there will be day 14 to 15, there will be differentiation of the inner endodermal layer of the embryo into the columnar cell on the cranial side of the end, and that will be forming the precaudal plate on the cranial side. Okay. One day after that, there is again the differentiation of the cells at the caudal end, and they are forming the primitive streak. Okay, so at the caudal end, there will be formation of the primitive streak. The upper end of the primitive streak will be forming a bulge end. That bulge end will be known as the primitive node. Okay. From this bulge end, there is formation of the primitive pit, and then from that primitive pit, there will be development of a notochord. So this is here that will be which will be going from the primitive node to the precaudal plate. Okay. So here there will be development of the notochord. So in this model, you can only see the cuttage of the embryo, formation of the three process of formation of the three germ layers. It is still not formed. It is just begin. Okay. It is not ended there. You can see here the yolk sac, and you can see the epiblast layer. This is the uppermost layer or the ectodermal layer. And this is the primitive node. Here there will be primitive streak. And at this end, there should be procaudal plate. Okay. Now the questions that can be asked in this model are many. Okay. Starting from, they can ask about the process of development of the notochord, how it develops, they can ask. So first, there is a thick layer which is formed of the notochord, then it canalizes, and then again it forms solid notochord. Okay. Then they can also ask for what is the significance of the notochord. So it will help to differentiate the embryo into right and left side. It will also help in identifying the craniocaudal direction of the embryo. Also, they can ask for what is the fate of the notochord. So what is the fate of the notochord? What is the fate of the notochord? Correct. It will form nucleus pulposus and axial ligament of the tens. Apical ligament of the tens. Okay, so these two are the fate of the notochord. What about the primitive streak fate? Fate of the primitive streak. And what is the significance of primitive streak? Primitive streak and the precaudal plate, they also help in the, determining the caudal and cranial end of the embryo. And what is the fate of the primitive streak? Correct, it should disappear. Primitive streak should disappear. If it doesn't disappear, then what is formed is sacrococcygeal teratoma. Correct. Sacrococcygeal teratoma will be formed if it doesn't disappear. And what will be formed at the place of the precaudal plate? In normal human being, what will be formed at the level at the location of the precaudal plate? The precaudal plate is the area where there is no formation of there is intraembryonic mesoderm is absent. Intraembryonic mesoderm is absent at three places at the level of the precaudal plate, which is going to form in future the buccopharyngeal membrane, which will eventually rupture, and correctly said by many that it will be entering into the stomatodium. The intraembryonic mesoderm is also absent in the region of the notochord, and it is also absent at the region of the first development of the primitive streak, which will later on develop into the cloacal membrane, and it will again rupture. Cloacal membrane, okay, fine. So that's about this model. Now coming to the next model, this is again the dorsal view of the embryo. Okay, here there are two cuts. In the first model, there were two cuts, one horizontal cut and also one vertical cut, dividing into right and left somewhat. Okay, this is the whole embryo which is cut from the dorsal aspect or the amniotic cavity. So this is the amniotic cavity, and it is cut from the amniotic cavity. Below it is cut from the yolk sac part. Okay, and that part is not shown here. So this is the amniotic cavity, and this is the, what is this structure showing? This structure is showing the development of the neural tube. Okay, so this hole is the development of the neural tube. So you will say this is a model showing, this is a dorsal view of the embryo showing the development of the neural tube. Also, development of somites is seen here. Okay. What is this in this model? This is the developing heart. Okay, this is developing heart. So now again in this model they can ask neural tube formation and then also the fusion of the neural tube. So how which structure will induce the formation of the neural tube? Which structure will induce the formation of neural tube? Notochord, correct. So overlying the ectoderm overlying the notochord is induced to form neural folds and then neural groove, and then finally neural folds will fuse to form neural tube. So neural fusion of neural tube will start from the center, and that's why it will progress cranially and caudally in both the directions. The open ends of the neural folds will be known as the caudally it will be known as the rostral neuropore. Sorry, caudal neuropore, and cranially it will be known as cranial or rostral neuropore. Okay, so this is the cranial or rostral neuropore because the pericardial bulge is lying near it. Okay, so this is cranial or rostral neuropore, and this is the caudal neuropore. Now they can ask again, what is the day of fusion of cranial and caudal neuropore? So what is the day of fusion of cranial and caudal neuropore? Correct, day 5 and day 27. Caudal is day 5 and cranial is day 5 and caudal is day 27. Okay. And the next question they can ask in this is if the cranial and caudal neuropore fail to fuse, what will happen? So if the cranial neuropore fail to fuse, it will result in anencephaly. Okay, and if the caudal neuropore fail to fuse, it will result in spina bifida, which are of different types. Spina bifida can be spina bifida occulta, it can be meningocele, meningomyelocele, or rachis. Okay, all this can be asked in this model. The next thing which is asked is the somites. So, what are somites? First of all, they'll ask what are somites. So the intraembryonic mesoderm is divided into three parts. From midline to lateral side, it is divided into paraaxial, intermediate, and lateral plate mesoderm. The paraaxial mesoderm will be getting arranged into cubical masses. Those cubical masses are known as somites. Okay, just the lateral to the notochord or neural tube. This all is occurring just lateral to the neural tube. Okay, so this somites will be start developing on which day of the embryo? First somite. So these are present in pairs. So first pair of somite will start appearing on day 20, and then each day 3 to 4 pairs will be appearing, and the somite period is from the 20 to 30 days. So all somites will be formed till 30 days. Okay. And when 3 to 4 pairs are appearing in one day, some pairs are also getting also start disappearing. Okay. So if we want to calculate the age of the embryo, there is one formula based on the number of somites. Okay. So the age of the embryo in days is equal to number of somites divided by 3 plus 20. Okay. As the somites are start developing on the 20th day, we will have to add 20 days, right? And as 3 to 4 pairs are appearing in each day, we divide the number of somites by 3. So which is what is the age of the embryo in this model? Correct. It is 23 because here there is around 8 to 9 somites present. So 8 or 9 divided by 3, which is coming out to be 3, and 3 is added to 20, so it will come out to be 23. Here there are 8, but we are calculating and round figuring is that it is 23. Okay. So that is all about this model. Any doubts in identifying or naming these two models till now? Any doubt in these two models, naming or identifying? Okay, so we'll move on to the next model. This model is actually showing the folding of the embryo. This is the lateral view of the embryo, showing the head and tail fold also. And also it is showing many other structures such as forebrain vesicle here, bulging. This bulging is of the forebrain vesicle. It is also showing the development of the pharyngeal arches. Here, this is the development of the heart. Here, this is the septum transversum, and here these are the somites, and this is the caudal eminence. Okay, this model is showing, this is the next version of this model. So this is this is showing the optic vesicle, and here the addition is the two limb buds which are seen in this model. So this is the upper limb bud and this is the lower limb bud. The day of appearance of these two is 26 and 28 respectively. 26 and 28. Okay. Okay. In this, they can also ask about the structures in the umbilical cord or connecting stop. Can you see all those structure, identifying all those structure? So here there is 2 umbilical artery, 1 umbilical vein. The left umbilical vein will be left. There will be vitellointestinal duct and also the allantois. Vitellointestinal ducts will have its vessels with it. Okay. So structures present in the umbilical cord are 2 umbilical artery, left umbilical vein, as only left is left, vitellointestinal duct along with its vessels and allantois. Okay. Now the models which are remaining are the models showing mainly the development of the placenta. Okay. So those are these 3 models, 1, 2, and 3. This is the developed placenta. So development is from here to here. We'll go from here to here. Okay. So we'll start first with this model. This is a model showing the developing fetus in the amniotic cavity and the uterus and the in the amniotic cavity. Okay, only in the amniotic cavity. So this is the amniotic cavity. This is the developing fetus, and this is the chorionic cavity. In the chorionic cavity, you can see the tertiary yolk sac. So they can also ask here that what are the types of yolk sac from primary, secondary, tertiary? What are the differences between primary, secondary, and tertiary? What is the fate of the tertiary yolk sac? The tertiary yolk sac usually disappears. Okay, so that is the fate of the tertiary yolk sac. And here, this is showing the what is this plate known as? This is known as this is a chorionic plate. Okay, so how the chorion is formed? The whole is not chorionic frondosome. Okay, one part is frondosome and one part is levee. So what are the cells forming the chorion? First of all, how chorion is formed? The chorion is formed by cytotrophoblast and extraembryonic mesoderm. Okay, so 2 things will form chorion. So these are the chorionic. The whole of the fetus is surrounded by chorion. So the chorionic villi will be projecting from all over the chorion into the surrounding decidua. Suppose here there is maternal decidua. What is decidua? Decidua is nothing but the endometrium in the pregnant female. Okay, endometrium of the pregnancy is known as decidua. So whole of the surrounding is the endometrium. Suppose so, this villi will be entering from all sides from the chorion into the endometrium. On one side, it will stop growing, and on the other side, it will be continue to grow. So the side where it will be continue to grow will be forming the chorionic frondosome. And the side where it stops to grow, it will be forming the chorionic levee. Okay. Now we'll see how and why this is not continuing to develop and why this is only going to continue to develop. Okay. So that will be explained in this model. So this is the model showing the developing fetus again in the amniotic cavity. So this is the amniotic cavity and this is the uterine cavity. Okay. Can you appreciate? This is the uterine cavity. This is the uterine cavity and this is the amniotic cavity. Okay. And this is the purple color structure is the decidua. So now this decidua is divided into 3 parts. The part which is present here is known as the decidua basalis. Okay. And the whole of the nutrition will be the fetus will be getting from the decidua basalis. Okay. This part of the decidua, purple color, outside the amniotic membrane is formed by decidua capsularis. So this is decidua capsularis, and the remaining part which is covering the uterine cavity is known as the decidua parietalis. So this is decidua parietalis. Okay. This is the uterine cavity. Now, sir, yeah. There is a confusion between the uterine in some of the students. There is a confusion between uterine cavity and the chorionic cavity. Here there is no chorionic cavity. This is the amniotic cavity and this is the uterine cavity. The chorion and amnion is fused here. So this is the fused chorioamniotic membrane. Okay. Sorry. This is the fused chorioamniotic membrane, and this is the uterine cavity. There is no chorionic cavity seen in this model. Okay. And the three parts of the decidua which are seen are the decidua basalis, decidua capsularis, and decidua parietalis. Okay. So I was talking about the chorionic villi. So chorionic villi will be starting to grow in all around decidua basalis and also around the decidua capsularis. Okay. But as you can see that decidua capsularis is facing the uterine cavity. This villi do not get the nutrition to develop. That's why they regress and they form the chorionic levee here. And the and the villi which are formed near the decidua basalis will continue to grow and they will form chorionic frondosome. Okay. Are you getting it? Here there will be chorionic frondosome and here there will be chorionic levee. Okay. And this is the cervical mucus plug which is shown in this model. Now the last model is about the mature placenta. It is showing the two parts. The upper one part is known as the fetal part, which is a smooth part. So this is known as the fetal part and fetal surface. And the deep part is known as the maternal part. So this part you can see, this maternal part and this one structure, these are known as maternal cotyledons. Okay. So this is fetal part and this is the maternal part showing maternal cotyledons. So now in this model, they can ask about what are the primary, secondary, and tertiary villi, and what are these cotyledons about. Okay, so the placenta itself will have two parts: maternal part and the fetal part. The fetal part is formed by the chorionic villi. Okay, this villi which we have spoken of, chorionic villi. Okay, fetal part. So what are these chorionic villi actually? It is nothing but it is of three types. First of all, primary, secondary, and tertiary. So in the initial phase of development, these will be primary villi. What are primary villi? It is nothing but the cytotrophoblast shell. Okay, with extraembryonic mesoderm. When there is extraembryonic mesoderm in the core of the cytotrophoblastic shell, it will be the secondary villi. And the tertiary villi, when there is capillaries in this extraembryonic mesoderm, fetal capillaries will invade. It will be tertiary villi. Okay. So if you know in the beginning only, the embryo will be surrounded by chorion. We here told ना chorion है और decidua, right? So suppose यहाँ पे chorion है, तो chorion क्या है? Chorion is nothing but the cytotrophoblast and the extraembryonic mesoderm, right? And outer to the cytotrophoblast there will be syncytiotropoblast, which will be invading the endometrium, correct? Right? So syncytiotropoblast यहाँ पे होगा सबसे outside, then there will be cytotrophoblast, and then there will be extraembryonic mesoderm. Fine. So पहले क्या होगा? Cytotrophoblast will invade the syncytiotropoblast basically, okay, and the endometrium, and those will form the primary villi. उसके अंदर जब extraembryonic mesoderm जाएगा तो वो secondary villi बनेगा, और उसके fetal capillaries जाएंगे तो वो tertiary villi बनेगा. अभी यहाँ पे जो syncytiotropoblast है उसका क्या हो रहा है? That is forming the maternal part of the placenta basically. Okay. So the syncytiotropoblast present here, the cavities will develop in those syncytiotrophoblasts which will fuse, and there will be some part of the syncytiotropoblast separated from the cavities. So those will be known as the trabeculae in the maternal part. Okay. So the trabeculae will be present, and in between them there will be spaces which will be filled by the maternal blood. So in those trabeculae only there will be chorionic villi which will be developing. Okay. So all together will form a cotyledon type structure. Are you getting the placenta development? Any doubts? Here they can also ask about what are the type of human placenta. So the human placenta is discoid. Disc shape में होता है इसलिए discoid. Cotyledonous मतलब cotyledons form होते हैं इसलिए cotyledonous होता है. Hemocorial. What is the meaning of hemocorial? The placental barrier is formed by maternal blood and the chorionic villi of the fetus. So that's why it is known as hemocorial. Okay. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can write down in the chat box. It is also decidual because it will shed off. So human placenta is decidual, discoid, hemocorial, cotyledonous. They can also ask about placental barrier structures forming the placental barrier in this. There can be two types of cotyledons, fetal cotyledon and maternal cotyledon. Okay, someone is asked about cotyledons. So cotyledon is just a term used for the structures which are forming the placenta. So there is fetal part and maternal part, right? So fetal part of the placenta is formed by chorionic villi. So that will form fetal cotyledon. And maternal part is formed by the trabeculae and the intervillar space. So that will form maternal cotyledon. Okay. Then they can ask about what is anchoring villi, ramus cori, villi cori. So anchoring villi is nothing but the villi which is going from the fetal part to the maternal part is known as the stem or villi or the anchoring villi. First branch from it will be known as ramus villi, and subsequent branches from the ramus will be known as ramuli villi. Okay, ramuli cori. Yeah, rami cori and ramuli cori. So that will be the thing. What are the structures which will be forming the placental barrier? It will be different in the earlier stage of pregnancy, and it will be different in the late stage of pregnancy. What are the structures? So it will be maternal blood. So if we start from the maternal side, it will be maternal blood. Then cytotrophoblast, then basement membrane of cytotrophoblast, then basement membrane, then syncytial trophoblast, then basement membrane of capillary, and then the endothelium of the capillary, and then the वैसे हो गया है सिर्फ कंक्लूसिव रिमार्क्स ही नहीं बताए थे बाकी तो
हाँ कनेक्टेड दिखा रहा है.
Can you hear me? Okay. So anything you want me to repeat or show again? So in the embryo model, you are supposed to start with the name of the model and start explaining the structures. First, identify the structures and then start explaining the process, related process in that model. Okay, and then the questions can be asked. Any theoretical question can be asked related to that model. I've tried to cover whatever was possible in 45 minutes. Might have skipped some questions as well. Okay. So that's all. Thank you all.
Thank you, students. So now we will be closing the session. We'll meet again in the next session. Thank you.